let's get comfy before we get into this one. So this video, we're going to talk about bike insurance. We're going to go through what impacts your premium, things you can do to try and save some money, and just basically talk you through the different policies and stuff that you might be able to get here in the UK. Okay, so what actually affects your premium? Well, the first thing that's going to impact your premium is your age. So if you're under 25, well, congratulations to you. The system actually now thinks you are classified as a crash test dummy. You might have youth on your side, but you've also got absolutely no self-preservation within you. So you can expect your premiums to be sky high as a result of that, because they're just going to see you as an absolute menace on the road. So next is going to be licensing experience. If you're just riding around in a CVT or you've just passed your test, then again, insurance is going to put you in that danger zone. Things like advanced rider training, bike safe, that sort of stuff, that can really help you save a few quid at this point. Next up is going to be bike type. So you're out there shopping for that bike, you're shopping around, you're looking, and your dream bike is that 600cc Super Sport. Well, your quotes are going to get really spicy if you go and buy that bike. So insurance, they really don't trust talk. You're going to be better off saving a few quid by spending the first year or two riding around on something like a 125cc. Doing that's going to save you an absolute fortune, and you're going to build up a couple of years no claims bonus. If you don't want to go for a 125, try and keep that CC level lower. I find bikes that are really user friendly. Postcode is going to be the next one, and this is an absolute lottery. So wherever you're living, it's going to have a massive impact on your insurance. Live in London, bad luck, mate. Like, you're going to get stung. The amount of bikes that are getting nicked around London is insane. Live somewhere rural, so somewhere like, Cheshire, middle of Cheshire, then you're going to have fewer thieves, lower insurance quotes. Security is a big deal as well. This is really going to impact your insurance. So if you've got a garage, ground anchors, trackers, CCTV pointed at your garage with your bike, that's really good. Insurance companies absolutely love that. So then we've got the types of cover here in the UK. I'm going to try and explain these to you like you're a 12-year-old. The first one is third party only. This is the absolute legal minimum. It covers other people and their stuff, but you're completely on your own. The next level up is third party fire and theft. Now this adds protection for your bike if it gets nicked or torched. So it's still absolutely useless in the event of a crash. Finally, you've got comprehensive. Now this is the big one. It covers you and your bike and other people's stuff from theft, fire, and your own embarrassing moments. So that's the one that you want to be looking at. It's going to cost you a lot more, but in the long run, in the event that you drop your bike, you have an accident, something bad happens to it, at least your bike's still covered as well. It's also worth considering things like your voluntary excess. So excess, for those that don't know, this is where you pay a fee up front in the event of a claim. So if you have a higher voluntary excess, your premium might be lower. So it's a bit of a gamble on your part. You might be sitting there thinking, well, if I pay a higher excess, hopefully I'll never have an accident and that saves me a few quid on my policy. But in the event of an accident, you need to be able to find that money up front. So have a think about how much you can comfortably afford up front in the event of a crash. Now, third of all, we're going to discuss things like add-ons. You'll see when doing these insurance quotes, especially on comparison sites, there's a bunch of tick boxes. And I want to work out whether, in my opinion, they're worth it or they're wallet drainers. Now, for me personally, the first one that you want to be looking at is helmet and leather cover. You spend a fortune on this stuff. Like, helmets can be 600, 700, 800 quid if you're spending for high-end stuff. You've got your Kevlar jeans, you've got your jackets, your leathers, the whole kit and caboodle. Like, in the event of an accident, if you're badly injured, they're getting cut off or they're getting destroyed in that accident, you're going to need replacements. So for me, I would always be ticking that box to make sure that they are covered in an accident as well. Next up, most insurance companies offer you some breakdown cover. Hit and miss, you might already have it with a bank, you might already have it with a credit card or something. I myself, my breakdown's covered through my bank, but you can always add it if you need it, because there's nothing worse than going out for a ride out, getting a puncture, and having to push that bike home or something like that, or having to pay for a recovery. So might be worth it for some of you, you might have it from other places. Double check before you tick that box. Legal cover. So this is the one that's going to help you recover any losses and high solicitors and stuff if, I don't know, Karen in the cash guy pulls out on you at a junction. Now I always tick the box for legal cover because I don't want the legal fees in the event of an accident, which might not be my fault. I always tick the box on that one, but again, you might save a few quid if you decide not to go with that. Next up is courtesy bikes. Now there's weird little loopholes and stuff in this one. Courtesy bike might be important for you if the bike or the scooter or whatever it is you're riding is your only mode of transport. But for people like myself, I've got my car, so I wouldn't tick that box, especially because some insurance companies don't actually include bikes as replacements. They include scooters. And, you don't want to be turning up to work looking like a Deliveroo rider, do you? Okay, so now here's the all-important bit. How can we go about saving some money without having to sell a kidney or buying a bike that we just do not want? So the first thing I recommend is taking advantage of a bike safe course and additional rider training. It's something that I'm guilty of not doing, but I do hopefully in the future take part in. These courses often mean lower premiums because the insurance companies see you as a safer rider. And it also might actually teach you a thing or two and prevent you from having a few brown pants moments whilst out on the ride. Next up, you can look at bundling your insurance together. So if, like me, you're an old git and you've got a house and cars and family and all that sort of stuff, if you look at bundling things like your house insurance, your car insurance and your bike insurance together, put them all into one policy, some providers will offer you a multi-policy discount. I mean, that's capitalism at its absolute finest. Another tip that could see you saving a few quid is annual payments. So pay once and be done with it, if you can, obviously. So monthly payments will add interest, and interest is going to be more financial pain in the long run. If you can afford to put it on a credit card, pay yourself back. If you can afford to pay it all in one go with some savings, anything like that, that's going to save you a few quid in the long run. And really importantly, another big tip for saving money on your bike insurance is adding security. Alarms, immobilizers, trackers, that sort of stuff, anything that's Statchams approved. And having locks, chains, ground anchors, that sort of stuff in your garage or where you live, all of this is going to bring your insurance quote down. Finally, it's quite hypocritical of me to say it, but avoiding things like modifications. So obviously I've done a few and they have stung me when it comes to insurance. There has been additional costs put onto my policy. So if you are getting that bike and it's completely standard, maybe just ride with it standard for a year or two till you get that year or two's no claims on your belt, then start enjoying things like the aftermarket exhausts and modifications to make the bike look a bit nicer. Insurance is just like an MOT. Like, it comes around every single year and it's painful, but it is, unfortunately, absolutely necessary. So your job is to understand what you're buying, go out and get multiple quotes from multiple providers, and remember, the only thing worse than paying too much is not being covered when some idiot opens his car door straight into you, or worse, some, as I've said, Karen in a cash guy pulls out on you at a junction. The last thing you want is to go down and lose your pride and joy. So yeah, anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share it with friends, hit that subscribe button, that bell icon. This is all new to me. I'm enjoying making the content. I'm hoping you guys enjoy watching it. If you want to motivate me to carry on coming out and making more content like this, the best way you can do that is to subscribe. And hopefully I'll get to see you in the next one where I talk more rubbish about more bike stuff.